Real true, ayy, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. Yo, what's up everyone, this is VCV and welcome to my first ever tier list video. This is a new series we're just gonna start doing once in a while. This episode is gonna be based on the Pokemon that you use at the beginning of every Pokemon game, starter Pokemon. And for the tier list, it specifically is the fully evolved starter Pokemon in this tier list, but the way I'm gonna go and rate them on the tier list is based on all the evolutions within each starter Pokemon. Now, if you're hyped for this tier list video, make sure you guys go and help show support by smashing that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. Stay up to date on all the live streams, videos, music, and more. Now, let's get started with this tier list for all the starters in Pokemon. Alrighty, so here we are. We got all the Pokemon right down here from generations 1 through 8. And we're just going to be rating them from left to right. I think we're going to do it that way. Just because I don't want to start picking them out. Because that way it'd be a little bit cheap. But we're going to go and Samurai. To be honest, I think I'll put him in D. I'm not a huge fan of Samurott, but he's not horrible. He's definitely not a horrible starter. Like, he has some good moves, so he's not horrible. He's really not. Rillaboom, though. Rillaboom. I personally think he belongs in D as well. And the reason why I'm putting him in D as well is because I used him as my starter when I played Sword and Shield, and I like him way more than the other two starters, but his moveset is kind of very lackluster, to be honest. Next up is Torterra. Grass ground type. Solid C tier. Solid C tier. He's pretty bulky. He's got some good moves overall. He can learn Earthquake by level up. It's pretty good. I may consider raising up to B tier eventually. We'll see. Delphox. For the uniqueness of the typing, and Delphox does have a pretty good moveset, I'll put Delphox in C tier as well. Because similar to Torterra, they both have pretty unique movesets and typings. Feraligatr. I'm putting Feraligatr right here in B? I like Feraligatr a lot. I'm not sure if I'm going to put him in B or A. Because Feraligatr, especially in later games, can learn like Ice Fang and Dragon Dance and a bunch of other moves across different generations. So he's definitely very good. I may consider putting him up in A tier. Because like Typhlosion is a definitive B tier for me. Typhlosion's pretty cool. I like how he was able to be a super fast fire attacker, especially back in Gen 2 and also in the Heart Gold Soul Silver remakes. But I think the main reason he's in B tier instead of like C tier, D tier is mainly for my nostalgia. I'm not gonna lie on that one, but hey, it is what it is when it comes to that. Sceptile, Sceptile, solid A tier, because Sceptile's super strong. He's pretty quick too. He also learns Leaf Blade and a ton of other great attacks, and later on he gets the Dragon type Mega Evolution. Yeah, A tier for sure. Decidueye. I actually like Decidueye a lot, but when it comes to his moveset, it could be a little better. But I like him as much as I do for Alligator and Typhlosion, so I feel B tier would be great, especially with the Grass Ghost typing. You can't go wrong with that. You really can't. Empoleon. Empoleon has a very good typing with Water and Steel. And I don't think he's a C tier. I think he's a B tier. Empoleon's really good, especially if you utilize him in the right matchups. So we're going to have Empoleon in the B tier, also with his typing. And he still learns bird type attacks. Flying type attacks. He still learns flying type attacks, like Drill Peck and stuff. So it's definitely a good place to put him in B tier. Next up, Greninja. Now, here's the thing about Greninja. When it was Generation 6, I'm not gonna lie, I used Chestnut. Chestnut was my starter. And when I first saw Froakie, back in the day, the pre-evolved form of Greninja. I was like, oh, what is this stupid frog? He looks so weird. And then Greninja actually ends up becoming the most popular Pokemon, and he actually is really fucking good. Not including the Ash form, and he eventually got into Smash, and he overall is a really cool Pokemon, and the design of Greninja is pretty lit too. So, you can't go wrong with that. I think A tier is safe. I'm not putting him in S tier. I can't put Greninja in S tier. He is an S tier quality to me, personally, but he definitely is an A tier. Emboar. Now, Emboar's gotta be ahead of Samurott, for sure. Because I've played all the Pokemon games multiple times. I've used each of the starters at some point. Whether it's later in the game, whether I get it from a trade, or if I start a new game in a new playthrough. And with Emboar, I actually liked him as a firefighting type. I liked him way more than, let's say, Infernape, for example, which we'll be putting him on the tier list in a bit. Emboar can also learn a ton of amazing moves, like Head Smash, and a ton of unique stuff that helps make him diversify itself from the other firefighting types. So that's why, with all that included, he deserves the C tier spot. Next up, my boy Swampert. My boy Swampert, man. He's gotta be an A tier. Swampert is a must for A tier. With water ground typing, especially back in the 3rd generation, Swampert's a beast. It can only be taken down by grass type moves. And even then, like in that generation, it'd be very tough to even find an enemy to face to take out your Swampert if you played as Swampert in that gen. And in future gens too, it's very unique for how Swampert is able to utilize a wide range of moves, whether it's water, ground, rock, ice, fighting. There's a lot of opportune type coverage that it can use too. So for what it is, and the Mega is pretty dope too, with Swift Swim and all that. I think Swampert deserves the A spot in the A tier. Alright, I'm gonna get some flack for this. Meganium 100% belongs in the A tier. Now, I know a lot of people hate Meganium. If you hate Meganium, honestly, I completely don't mind if you smash the dislike button if you don't like Meganium and you're shocked by this placement. But let me speak. Let me speak first, okay? Because Meganium, bulky, very bulky Pokemon. You can use Light Screen. You can use a ton of other amazing moves. Leech Seed. And it can learn Body Slam and Solar Beam for physical and special attack coverage too. There's a lot of potential with Meganium that even to this day, some people just don't recognize. And it's very unfortunate. And for me, when I played Crystal version, Gold and Silver back in the day, I started with Meganium. Meganium was my Pokemon. And that was because back in the anime, Ash would have his Chikorita. And Chikorita was the first Pokemon we all seen before Gold and Silver and Crystal eventually came to the West. So, for me, and with some nostalgia, of course, Meganium deserves the A tier from me. Alright, now next up, we got Charizard. Now, Charizard, I kind of have to put him in the front of A tier. Let's organize this a little bit. Let's organize that a little bit to make sure we get everyone in their proper spots for sure. Because let's be honest here. Charizard is one of the most prolific and most memorable starter Pokemon in existence. And I played Pokemon with Red version also. So for me, Charizard heavily deserves A tier. Hell, later on, I may consider putting him in the S tier. Charizard's so dope, especially in the later games when he learns a ton of other unique moves for coverage. He eventually learns moves like Thunder Punch. He eventually learns moves like Dragon Dance. He eventually learns so much amazing stuff that makes him usable, especially with 2 Mega Evolutions, and he gets a Gigantamax form in the current games. Deserves the A tier spot. Inteleon. I gotta be honest. Inteleon's gotta be E tier. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Inteleon. I feel like Samurott does a lot of things better than Inteleon can. I feel a lot of the water types, all of them do better. Hell, even Primarina, water fairy type. Kicks ass and takes names with some bulk. It can even use some psychic moves. And Inteleon, it's just... I never felt him. I don't feel it. He's not that good. I understand he has a few unique abilities and can learn some insane moves, but as a Pokemon, to me, as a starter, it doesn't grasp my attention as a Pokemon master to use Inteleon. I'd rather use Rillaboom. And you know what? Along with Inteleon in E tier, I gotta put Cinderace in E tier too. I know Cinderace is a pretty good Pokemon as a whole, but I gotta be honest. When it comes to Inteleon and Cinderace, I kind of hate their designs. They look very ugly, especially for starter type Pokemon. They also, just when it comes to their movesets, they aren't as varied as many of the other Pokemon that are starter types in this list. Overall though, I know Cinderace, to many, is like around the mid tier, if not A tier for most people. But for me, I kind of fucking hate Cinderace and Inteleon. I think they're fucking stupid. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. That's just me personally, because like this is all subjective, like my personal tier list for these starters. So if you want to check out this same tier list and create your own for this tier list of starter Pokemon, I'll leave a link in the description of the video for you guys to make your own. But as a whole so far, A tier is looking a little stacked. I may have to organize this a little more. There's not as much in the bottom, but it is what it is. Let's just say that. Now the next Pokemon in this tier list is the sole Pokemon to be in the S tier. And you may have guessed it already at this point, but it is Blaziken. Blaziken was my starter in Ruby version back in the day. And when I first seen Blaziken beat Ash's Charizard's ass at the end of the Generation 2 anime, it got me hooked. I was like, who the hell is this Pokemon? Like, I thought it was so sick to see a physical fire type in the way that Blaziken was. And once third generation came around, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, I used Blaziken. And man, Blaziken's so good, especially nowadays. He has speed boost, the Mega. Blaziken's amazing. Next, Venusaur. Venusaur is fire. I'm gonna have to put him at the top of B tier though. I like Venusaur a lot. Very bulky, can use a wide range of moves. The poison typing is definitely a big help for Venusaur as well. And the Mega Venusaur has, very bulky, especially with that thick fat. Can't be affected by fire or ice types nearly as much when it's Mega Evolved. So that's why it deserves the B tier spot in this tier list. Infernape, you belong in D tier. You're fucking horrible. Next, Incineroar. Incineroar, solid C tier. I think Incineroar is a solid C tier. I like Incineroar less than Primarina and Decidueye when it comes to the Gen 7 starters, but Incineroar got into Smash. So I would personally have him in D tier, but I upped him a little more solely because of the accolades that it has gained. And somehow being one of the most popular starters out of those three. I'm not sure how. I still think Decidueye is the most popular and should have been in Smash, but it is what it is. Next up is Superior, and Superior, I like Superior. I think Superior deserves the top of C tier. Now, the reason why Superior is in the top of C tier is because when I started Generation 5, I started with Snivy, which is the pre-evolved form of Superior, and the evolutionary line, it's alright. The reason why I say it's alright is because it is a pure grass type, and in Generation 5, only Emboar had dual typing. And because of that, it made Emboar seem more appealing overall. But there's a lot of unique things that you could do with Superior. There's a move called Coil, and you're able to boost your stats in a unique way that helps decimate your enemies when playing a Superior. So with that, along with its pretty unique moveset for being just a grass type, definitely deserves the C tier spot. Next up, we got Chestnut. Now, Chestnut was actually my starter when I played in Generation 6. However, I definitely don't think he was better than Torterra. Definitely better than Delphox, but not better than Torterra, for sure. Chestnut was cool with the typing it had and all that, but the way you had to use Chestnut with the spiky shield and all that, he was more so focused on defense. And to be honest, I wish he had a better attack stat. Like, he isn't as physically and or especially strong in its attack, and that's one of the downsides that drops him down for me to C tier instead of maybe having him in the B tier, where nostalgically I'd put him there, but he definitely deserves C tier. The final Pokemon, the final starter in this tier list that we are going to cover and place on the tier list is Blastoise. And Blastoise, I gotta put him in A. Right in front of Sceptile. Blastoise, just like Charizard, super nostalgic. Such an amazing Pokemon. And yes, I know people are going to be in the chat saying, oh, Venusaur's better. Oh, Venusaur's better. Yes, I know. In many regards, Venusaur can be the better Pokemon out of the original 3 starter Pokemon from Generation 1. But this is my tier list, and it's all subjective. It's my personal perspective on the starter Pokemon. And overall, that about wraps up my tier list. So let's go from bottom to top. We got Cinderace and Inteleon in E tier. We got Infernape, Samurott, and Rillaboom in the D tier. Then we got Incineroar, Primarina, Delphox, Chestnut, Torterra, Emboar, and Serperior in the C tier. Then we got Decidueye, Typhlosion, Empoleon, Feraligatr, and Venusaur in the B tier. And then we have in the A tier, Greninja, Meganium, Swampert, Sceptile, Blastoise, then Charizard. And then, by himself at the top of S tier, is the one and only Blaziken. And that about wraps up this tier list video. Did you like this video? Did you like how it was and seeing my thoughts on these starter Pokemon? I'm planning to possibly do more tier list videos based on other video games, TV shows, music, and so much other cool stuff that we could do tier lists on. But I will only do that if you guys enjoyed and want to see more. So let me know if you did by leaving feedback in the comment section below, as well as also not forgetting to smash that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well to stay up to date on the live streams, videos, music, hot takes, and maybe even some tier list videos if you guys are interested. Thank you all so much, and I will see you all next time. Peace.
V-Sips on the beat.
Black casket, pockets on me, what you asking? Black casket, is it way too much to be asking? Black casket, pockets on me, what you asking? Black casket,